When I look in here, it just looks like a three-dimensional picture. It is so weird. Just sitting outside yesterday, my daughter got here. I'm sitting outside and I'm just sitting here going, man, that just looks so weird. Everything looks so weird, like we're in a three-dimension. So I just asked her, I said, do you notice, like when you're looking around, do you notice anything looking different? Like to me, I started noticing like everything all of a sudden looked three-dimensional. Like I felt like I was in a three-dimensional picture. It's just so weird. And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And there was some other things, but I was like, it just really drives it home, is that they are meant to wake up by this impactful moment. They're meant to see it all at this same time. But I really think that a lot of their, like I had noticed with my kids, that they had been doing a lot of other healing. And so I think that they do their healing a lot, and then so when it hits them, then they're going to heal from that part. But they've already been doing the other part. So it's not like that they get hit with everything at once, even though they don't see the other part yet. But, you know, I mean, that happened with me. I mean, I was doing all this healing, and then all of a sudden 2020, and it was like, what? And you just see something that you never saw before. Once you see it, no matter how crazy and ridiculous and disturbing you think this world is, it's once you all of a sudden see it, and you just realize there's something that this isn't real, or it's not what we thought it was, or something. I don't know, but I definitely feel like that they are. I know so many people are like, oh, they're not going to wake up, they're not going to wake up. I don't see it that way at all. I see it very much as that it's like that there's an impact that will happen of growth. And then it would be more like all of us souls would be up there going, well, the ones that learned it here, we learned this, and the ones that learned it, like, there's a reason. It isn't, you know, because they're too stupid to wake up and all this stuff that people say. It's like there's so much ego. The one guy, he's just going all in on this religion thing, and the Jesus and all this stuff. And I was like, I don't care about talking about. I don't need to decipher every freaking thing in the Bible until, you know, I like to listen when I've heard some of this stuff, but I don't know, this is a different level. This is there's something different. And so there's something, I don't know, with the people as they wake up, just it's very sloppy. It's just a sloppy process, you know. And and the thing is people who are doing it super sloppy, they're going to be totally humiliated, because then they're going to be so disgusted with themselves. It's like, and somewhere in that cycle, you got to catch it, and then you got to be easy on yourself and not be so, you know, angry, you know, about I don't know, or just stuff that people are just, their emotions are so caught up in some of this stuff, and you just gotta let some of it go. But it's all about their awakening, their learning. All I'm saying is, as you're witnessing it and seeing it, you just gotta, you know, let people come to their realizations on themselves. This is something too that I thought was kind of trippy. Because yesterday, and this is, you know, it's all in perspective. This is what people have got to see. Is, and this is the kind of stuff that I get shown all the time. But this was one that I really wanted to remember, because I was like, this is exactly so true. And, you know, I've got all daughters, and so, you know, they've all gone through their different times of gaining weight, losing weight. You know, that's a girl thing. That's why you shouldn't get too caught up in, you know, hating yourself of how you look at some point, because it's always changing. It's different things happening. Your body's always changing, and you gotta love it through its changes. And so, but you know, all girls, you struggle when you lose weight, gain weight, and all that stuff. Your clothes don't fit. You gotta get new clothes. You know, it's just a frustration. And when the so I was making all that food last, and I didn't cook the shrimp. It was so good. Doing it with the lime and the cilantro and onions and peppers and leaving it all night. Oh my gosh, it was really good. And I put some crushed red pepper, and I put some more stuff. It was really, I'm a good cook. That's one thing I am good at. And I don't fear making mistakes. So I'll try all sorts of things. I'm really trying a lot of these cottage cheese things, and they sure look good on the things, but I haven't mastered that yet. But it seems like it's a good thing to have a certain kind of blender, though, because you've got to get into a certain consistency, and I haven't mastered that part yet. But I don't have like all the fancy things. I've got a really small place. So anyways, I was cooking tortillas, and they were, oh my gosh, they were coming out really, really good. And so I was like, man, do I just keep going? Do I just make a few? So I started having this whole thing in my mind about how many to make. And so then I started thinking, it's so crazy is because, like, if somebody is focused on themselves, focused on their weight or whatever, so themselves, they're focused on it. They're beating themselves up. They're, they think everybody else is noticing because they're so hyper-focused on it, and they're just beating themselves up all the time so they're thinking about it all the time, and with a kind of a nasty energy towards themselves. In many cases, I'm not saying every single time and every single one, and it always gets easier every time, but it happens. I mean, most women who have gained weight know that happens, and so they get real focused on it, and they think everybody's focused on it. So when I was making the tortillas, I was like, and trying to decide, and it wasn't like about with her or anything, just these things were coming into my mind. And one of them was like, so if you made like 6 tortillas, then the person could come in and go, oh, well, I guess that they're trying to say I'm eating too much. I better only eat, my fair share. And, so you can affirm the messages you're giving to yourself through that interaction. Then you can also, if you cooked like an endless amount, you cook 12 of them or something, and the person came in, and then they could be thinking, oh, see, they think I'm so fat, I'm just going to eat all of these. They think I'm just a big old blimp. So see, it is the person who can turn anything into what they want to give them their confirmation of what they feel about themselves. And this is an important thing. This is why I'm bringing it up. Is the important thing is how we need to start noticing that. It's been pointed out to me over and over and over. I wish I could remember all the times. It is all sorts of things, of ways that they'll bring you to show you and point things out. But that is one that they've been showing me is so much you are the projector. You are the one who is seeing it. You don't know that person's intention. And we got to talk a little bit, which I'm kind of, I'm not going to be irritated with myself, but I'm going to be like, I want to do better. And because I don't even like to feel like I'm being defensive at all. My insecurities should not affect how I treated somebody. So I've got to just, my own insecurities that kept me bound to who I was going through. That's my problem. And like I said before, your problem, when you're taking it and moving it out, you're spreading your problems. So my problems go out into the other problems. But when things are functioning right in the development of language came into my mind, but learning, then we work together. We learn from each other. And just like that woman was saying, it's your karmics that are born to you. And this, oh man, this really has torn me up. I had to hurry and turn it off because it was, it's just making me really, really sick right now. It's just, but there's going to be so many of these things. And we just got to gotta remember these are each soul. Like, it is like we're in a library, and the library has gone action, and all the books have opened up to show their stories. And so you got to remember that when all these different souls stories are playing out, that's what it is. It's all these stories are playing out. and it's the stories that they created. So it can't just happen to you. It won't accidentally happen. If you feel very strong, like, oh, that's going to happen, that's going to happen, it's probably because you set up the same kind of thing. And if it, God also, remember that you create, the thoughts will create the things. So you get stuck being in fear. Oh, that's going to happen, that's going to happen. You'll create it to happen. You got to shift your focus off of the fear, because you focusing on it will create it. But let me think what I was saying, because I have this other thing that I want to talk about too, is this movie we were watching last night. But anyways, you just, it's important to focus on the best stuff. And what was it? I was talking about something yesterday, and then I heard somebody saying something. I was like, man, people just don't get it. They don't get it. They're going to have to see. And it is like, but it's gone out of my head now. It just was way over there. It was like a little far back. But this other thing, this is something I got to talk about. Because, one thing is, too, when I first started, I was like, man, those Amish, man, those people, we should have all stayed Amish, man. And back when I was younger, people would make fun of them like that. Oh, those people don't have TVs, they don't drive cars, like they're so weird and stuff like that. And I didn't even live by them. The people who I was around a lot was the Moonies. We had Moonies everywhere. And I was an annoying teenager, I think. I would start trouble with the Moonies. I was like constantly telling them they were in a cult and stuff. Well, it's weird. There's just things that I just knew. I don't know. There's just, it's so weird when you look back at your old self. It's just weird. But anyways, but I did think, like, man, the Amish really stuck in community. They, they go out and bring, somebody needs a barn, they all go out together. Here, we'll put you a barn up. They all seem like, what a good, solid community, and very, community driven, And so since I've seen, several movies where I was like, whoa, I didn't know they were so fucking religious and judgmental, man. Like, fuck. And just like wicked mean, man. Like, so controlling. Like, you weren't, like, a couple of movies I've seen, and I'm pretty sure it was an old, it was a true story, is the one, but I've seen it redone again, this story. And so, somebody, the one story, it was a soldier or something. The woman's husband, he was gone off to the war, and a soldier came, and he was hurt out in the fields or something. She brought him in and was helping him or something. I think he wasn't in a active. He just looked like a transient person. And she didn't know he was a soldier. All these people thought he was somebody who was dodging the war while all their family members are getting killed and stuff like that. And so she brought him in, but see, they were all this religious sect that you're not allowed to bring in other people. Like, it was weird. Like, the women have no rights. The men, like, if the woman's husband dies, another man can just say, well, now, they just will push themselves on him. And then they use manipulation and coercion and gaslighting. And so, and I saw a couple of stories like that, but the one I saw last night is a new Lifetime movie. And it was just like, oh my God. It was like another level. And it wasn't even one person's story, because there's so many girls escaping that it's a whole bunch of different girls' stories all put together. And I know I've seen so much about this in Utah lately. So many videos and stuff. So much corruption in Utah. So much corruption in Arizona. Like, fuck, man. We have been living in such a corrupt, disgusting place, man. But so in Utah, the I don't even know what those people are. The LDS, the Church of the LDS, they're so corrupt. And it's the same kind of thing where the men can just, they can do whatever the fuck they want. And they can, they want an 11-year-old wife, they can have an 11-year-old wife. If they want 20 of them, they can have 20 of them. And it's weird. And it's weird how some of the people who are really into the sect, they, they find that is good. Like, oh my gosh, we're so proud. We've got this 10-year-old daughter and all the guys want her. And I was like, they think that, they're proud of that or something. It's weird. And, but it's not like, man, it's weird. So this is, they've got so many escaping from the Mennonites and the Amish communities. So the Mennonites is something similar. So there's just these religious sects where the men have all the rights. The women are to be submissive and dutiful, do what they're told, and they don't have the same rights. But it's the kids, man. So these kids where the guys can just decide that they want them, and then they blame it on the kid. It's stop tempting them. You're tempting. They created this temptation. Then the kid will get beaten by the dad for tempting the man. So the main story is this one girl's thing, and it's so horrible. And they marry these people off to these old fucking men. These old men can do whatever the fuck they want. And this was a young girl who was like, didn't want it. She didn't want this old pervy guy. He'd already been coming into her bedroom and molesting her for a long time. I think he was molested tons of the people in the community, tons of the kids. And was also, a graper. And then he also was like in church, a guy could just be like, I've got to confess, I was tempted. You mean you just assaulted? You didn't attempt? You weren't tempted. You fucking assaulted somebody, you motherfucker. And then, this poor girl, she comes in to her house, and the dad knew. She went out to the barn to get the light because there was a light left. They didn't use lights, fire thing hanging out there, so she had to go get it. So they just burned the barn down. So she went out to get it, and an old creepo is out there waiting for her. Oh my God, the whole scene is so fucking disturbing. It's so disgusting. So sick. So then, it's brutal. I mean, he rips her clothes. She's covered in blood and stuff. Goes in the house, she's bawling. And her dad comes down and sees her and tells her to shut the fuck up. And she's got to come in there and take her beating. And then so she decides to run away. The person who's going to help her instead goes and tells, well, they'll get these girls who disagree, who don't want to mind and be dutiful, then freedom, who want just human rights, then they will take them to those like a prison camp place, and they hold them captive until they beat it out of them, until they come to. And some of the girls in those prison places, they go, as soon as they go home, run away again, they put them back. It's just this, it's horrible. And they beat them down, and then this girl, her mom dies, and all of these ones, there's always these moms dying that seem like, what are they, these like 45 to 55, and they're all dying. And it was like, they are sick and dying because they are not living. That you can't be submissive like that. You can't put away your own feelings. You can't shove yours down. You will become sick and die. And so it's like, no wonder they're so submissive. They have to go against themselves. They have to tell their kids, shut the hell up. Don't complain about being beaten and raped. And it's like, what? It is, oh my God. And I'm sure it's not in every household, but there's certain things that are accepted and certain things that are frowned upon and stuff. So I'm sure it is. I'm sure there's some that are more, the sect is more religious, but anyways, while I was also watching it, and they started talking Dutch to each other. So I started thinking, okay, so this is where I get weird. That's where I always get weird. So then, the Dutch people are over there. So then they put them out into the communities. So they start going out into other places to, I don't know whether they want to call them settlers or whatever. So they start moving out of the thing. But over there, where some of the oldest labs are, like, I'm always trying to figure out where these white people came from and how there became the white people, how they, it is like the white people that they put out into the world. Like they had them in the labs, and then just like how we're in this huge habitat of training center, like in the TV and all this stuff, it's always training, but the people are hungry for it. They're trying to figure out who they are. They're trying to understand who they are. So they're hungry for this. Only their ego gets them in judgment. So then they think they're right and everybody else is wrong. So it's like there's a lot of learning. There's a lot of, you can see how much learning and growth, you know, there is an eye on the prize. You know, it's peace of mind. Peace, how do you have peace on earth if you're just constantly needing to control and judge others? So, but it's like they wanted that energy. And so when you try and think of like how they put the different groups of white people out to, you know, what is that called? Not, I feel like I can see it, but like blossom the seed is what I keep hearing, but going out and, you know, putting those people out across the world, get them into, because if you think of the world of being all of these darker people and tribes everywhere, and then the people in the labs, like, you know, because they've been messing with them since the beginning, and the Sumerian tablets, it was like they had 3 tries then, like no telling how many different tries as they've been manipulating with the removing the melanin, you know, to try and create these controllable beings. And another thing too is, oh, I didn't even finish the story that traumatized me. I gotta tell that one. But this was, I gotta say this real quick too, because this is weird shit, man. This is weird. So I heard somebody yesterday, and they were doing this whole thing about dark or black people, white people. That was one of those kinds of things. There's so many people saying so many interesting things about this stuff. But they were saying people in India are considered white people. And how are they considered white people when they're so dark? It's like, yeah, what in the hell? So you're trying to just tell us that just black people are African and brown people are Mexican, then all the other dark people are white people? Like, what are they talking about? Like, everything is just, you know, shades of the color. It is the manipulation of the removing of the melanin, for one thing, but the certain tribes, like the people in Saudi Arabia or Turkey or India or any of those, that's like there's certain tribes, just like the Mongolian, like you can tell, like there's certain Indian tribes that came from these certain different ones. Like in the very beginning, there wasn't as many, you know, it wasn't, there was fewer, and there was, but there's been just this manipulation. But when they do the white people, when they're trying to get the white people out there, because it's like they want the white people to take over the dark people, because the dark people, like if the darker people were just left on their own, they would become too much of God's creatures. They'd want their rights and stuff. So that's why they've got to try and remove that kind of thing. There's a whole bunch of things going on, you know, with it. But when we're talking about the control, like there's a whole bunch of things. Like you've got a whole bunch of different scientists doing different things. I mean, I've seen so much footage now of, fuck, I don't even know where, you know, someone's just making it. It looks real. It looks like babies in ICU beds or something. And they've got fucking babies that are like a half human, half fish. Like, I don't know what the fuck. And I've heard that by these other people, these other whistleblowers coming out saying, you know, they're going to be surprised what they got going. They've been mixing humans with other things for a while. And now I keep seeing this footage. There's the Island Boys. I don't know if you've seen about them, the Island Boys, and they talk about a Jeffrey Epstein. Now people are like, that's his kids. Look at them. Those are his kids. I'm really curious if Jeffrey's going to be coming back out. And he's not. Like, I don't know what the hell. You know, I would still think he's in trouble, like, no matter what. Even if he were to come back, I would still like, he's getting the death penalty no matter what. So, and then, the girl, the thing that was so traumatizing this morning, that was so horrific, and we're going to see more and more of it, is a 12-year-old girl. Honey, I'll clean your ears just a second. She starts shaking her head. I think her ears feel dry. But a 12-year-old girl who stabbed her 9-year-old brother. And she's being arrested at that house. Like, the video footage, I don't know if it's I don't know whose video it is. It could be a cop one. But she's out in the street crying, being arrested. And the mom is in the house, is like at the front door or something. The girl is just crying and crying and crying. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And the mom's like, she sounds like she's in shock. You stabbed him. You stabbed him in the chest. You killed him, her 9-year-old little boy. And to me, I can look at that situation and see like, oh, there's some souls that got some stuff they haven't worked out. And we're going to keep seeing this. Is the souls, like, this isn't, there's nobody's, this is nobody's first go around. Ain't no soul here that is coming to a state of consciousness. This is their first go around. Believe you me, all these people that you have all these situations with, you have situations that you've been carrying and carrying and carrying. And it's sad, but that was always going to happen. Whatever happened in that family was always going to happen. And then it's when they get to the other side, is, you know, that all that stuff. But bet your ass they'll come back. And now, though, you would have to go to another place. This place won't be for those working those situations out. Well, I know. We go back this time, and we play these roles. We'll do this, and then we'll have a different outcome. And then they get in, and then these things inside of people that they try and, you know, discount or hide from come to the surface. And so you have reactions, and, you know, but those are the things that people need to start understanding about themselves. You know, your actions, your reactions, gaining control, mastering your emotions. And you can see, like, a 12-year-old, that's an adult soul. That's not a fucking child. And a 9-year-old, that is an adult soul. This killing one another probably has gone back and forth from life to life to life. They get so mad at each other that, you know, I just grab a knife and plunge it in, and not even, because it's like when you have ghosts, we'll have like a situation where people are like, it's a ghost, and they're just replaying the same death scene over and over and over. Well, it's kind of, you got to think of micro, macro. The soul is in the experience, but it's playing these same scenes over and over because it's stuck in the energy. And that is what this ascension is all about, is to master, go into your energy, pull it to the surface, heal your shit. Like, there's a lot of these things that it can be fixed, but a lot of these things have to happen. Just like we need these people to obsess over certain things, to bring this information. There's so much information coming out now, too. What was the other one, too? Okay, honey, just a second. I haven't even been talking very long, but I've got company and stuff, and I hear them getting up, so I'll probably just go ahead and stop it. What was it? There was something, there's a whole bunch of stuff that's coming out, like the disclosure stuff, the stuff on Twitter. But there was something else that is really big. Oh, there's a whole bunch of footage coming out about the words you can't say, what goes on in November. Oh, there's a picture of Trump, too. His one for his voting thing, you know, for what we're going through, whatever, the voting thing. That he has 911, and he has a rabbit hole thing in one of the like, there's all these signs. So he's going to be releasing all of the truth about that, and the stuff that we all, you know, the conspiracy theorists, we know that's lies and shit. But so all that stuff, there's going to be no denying. It's not going to be like, oh, you conspiracy theorists. No, it's got all the truth. And the other one right now that's coming out, I've seen so much footage, is the people involved that were taking money selling the VOTES. So all that stuff. So there's no getting away. I mean, the Jeffrey Epstein, like, there's no getting away from any of this stuff. It's all coming out. It's all going. Everything is going. And, you know, we still have this weekend. Anything can happen. Now we've got all of the senators and whatever the hell. They've all put out a memo that they're going to special locations for this weekend. It's like, okay, what do you got planned for us? What do you got planned for us? Just come on, bring it on. Hurry up. Let's get over it. And so we just got to remember, every single thing, you just got to get through whatever they're throwing at you, and just get through it and process as things go, you know, heal the stuff, look at the things, and just keep looking at things differently, looking at things broader, bigger perspectives. But anyways, they're all just chomping at the bit to get out of that room, and I think they're not going to come out until I stop talking. So have a good day, and I will talk in the morning again. Usually she gets up later, so I will talk in the morning. We'll see how the day goes. Yesterday I wasn't on my phone, so I didn't even know that my video didn't go, because I have to start it. Like, I have to start the video so it goes into the thing. Otherwise, if I don't push start, it will go all day long. It's like nobody will see it or something. And so sometimes there's somebody who will. And then once somebody sees it and starts it, then it will start going. But I've had them sit there so when I went on there yesterday, and I was like, oh my God, was it been like 6 hours and there's only one view? And I knew that was my one to start it. And I was like, geez, there's something weird. Are they holding it back like this? So then I was going to go in and just upload it. And then I'm telling you, it's so crazy how they communicate. Private popped up, and I was like, private? Oh, okay. So I went in and looked, and it was set on private. And so I went in and just changed it. And then, so anyways, I'll watch. But that was another thing too. My whole page where I had all of because I had a page where I had all my stuff written, you know, and I would just copy and paste from my description. And that all disappeared out of my phone. It's weird. So anyways, I don't know, everything is weird. This whole weird 3D looking weird world. It's 7:15. It looks like it's light, but I know it's that plant light. It's still pretty dark out. So anyways, just whatever goes this weekend, just stay safe, and remember, it's temporary. Whatever they throw at us, it's temporary. And a lot of what they throw at us is just to keep us scared, to keep us beat down. But just keep on focusing on the prize, because the prize is up ahead and it's getting closer and closer and closer. Oh, I do want to say this, because this was a girl. She was talking about she was talking about some of the Beverly Frankel and Gemma James, I think. She was talking about they both have like chronic illness. Beverly Frankel has like Lyme disease and fibrom. I don't know, all these different autoimmune diseases, all these people. And she's like, I can understand the toxicity and the beauty, because both these ladies refuse to get their implants out, and they've got this autoimmune. So I was like, oh man, I want mine out so bad. But she was doing a whole video on that, and she gave me a name of a guy. She's like, he's $6,000. He's taking them all out for people. He's the best out and all that. So she gave me a name. It's like, oh man, I don't know. If I come up with $6,000, I may just go do it. I don't know. I want to do the med beds and not be cut into ever again, and not be put to sleep, and just go sit in there in the med bed thing and have them removed. But I don't know. I do want them out, because I do. I mean, that could be why my joints hurt so much. Is this fucking plastic ass shit in my body. So I do want this big ass shit on my body. So anyways, I will go, and you know, stay safe. But we do have a good future ahead, so stay optimistic, and don't let them beat you down. They want to keep you sad and depressed. Don't let them do it. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.